things in Belarus. Of course, he keeps me informed throughout the year. And I just want to start out by saying what I often say, which is it is really important to have this organization and also to keep in touch with your elected representatives, including myself, because as you know, we have so many issues in Congress and we have so many countries in the world. And if we don't hear from organizations such as this about your concerns about what's happening in Belarus and what we could do to try to end the dictatorship, then we're very much in the dark. Of course, I read about incidents that occur that get a lot of attention in the New York Times and the Washington Post. George mentioned the executions of the two men who were supposedly, allegedly involved with the subway bombing. And we, of course, hear if there's a major demonstration in Minsk for when the presidential elections are held because they're not fair. But it's only those major events, that happen maybe every 6 months or once a year that I read about. So I really rely on all of you and your organization and George as your representative to find out what's happening and what we can do to help. And when George mentioned the demonstrations that might take place, or that will take place, I should say, at the embassy in Washington this spring, I certainly would. I'd like to participate, perhaps. If it's a day when I can go, I'll show up at the embassy and demonstrate as well. But I just did want to congratulate everybody on Independence or Freedom Day. I can't help but mention, some of you know, and I mention it every year, so you might say this guy's a broken record, but my wife, whose maiden name is Hospodor, her father's family are of Belarusian descent. They claim to be from Minsk or the area near Minsk, going back 100 years, but nonetheless. And so my children are half Belarusian, if you will. And also my brother, John, married a woman from Brighton Beach, who is from Minsk as well. And so we actually have, family members and relatives within our own family. John Pallone, my nephew, whose mother is from Belarus, actually spoke Russian before he could speak English. And I have to tell you, it's kind of interesting because he went to the preschool in Long Branch, where my family has been for generations. And of course, we're Italian-American. And when he showed up and he only spoke Russian, people were like shocked. Where did this guy come from? So it was kind of cute. But he learned English since then. Now we have to learn how to write the language, not just speak it, but also learn how to read and write, which is important. But anyway, I wanted to say that what I've been trying to do in Congress periodically is to speak out and also co-sponsor resolutions that would make clear the Congress's opposition to Lukashenko and to his policies. And whether that means allowing people to immigrate, because I know that in the last year or so that the government has cracked down immigration and not allowed those who dissent to immigrate from the country. We've been advocating that they should allow immigration and the doors should be open to immigration. We've also been advocating and trying to get funding to pay for programs either through the internet or Voice of America or so that people hear through radio, TV, or the internet voices from outside that speak of democracy and freedom. And I think it's very important for us in Congress to keep up the pressure. I don't know how much leeway or pressure we can give, we can put on the government. A lot of people tell me probably very little because they don't really listen to the United States or care much about the United States. But I still think it's important for us in Congress to keep up the pressure and to make it clear that we want ultimately to have democracy in Belarus, that Lukashenko has to go, otherwise we're never going to have democracy, and that we would like to have Belarus become a free society and join so many of the other former Soviet republics that have moved towards democracy and a free market economy. I'm well aware of the fact that that's not easy. That we're nowhere near there today, but I still think it's important for us in Congress to speak out and make it clear that that's our ultimate goal. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, to some of you, is that some of you in the past have told me you couldn't vote for me, but actually my district is changing now, and I used to have places like Holland Park and Edison, and I still do, but now I've added Woodbridge and Perth Amboy and Carteret and some other towns where some of you I know live but couldn't vote for me before. So I want to make it clear that my district is changing, and I believe that there are more people that are in this room that are in the new district now that would be eligible to vote for me and to vote in November. So I wanted to make that clear as well.